Good morning. We are here to give a presentation on internal audit. As a qualified auditor, we aim to give an in-depth analysis of operations and their compliance with the set standard, also giving a better judgment of errors. We aim to reduce your costs by not having to pay a full-time employee. Since we are not within the company, we will not have a biased view on any of the procedures we carry. During the auditing period, we have come across with some risk factors relating to control. There is a lack of appropriate system authorization, and the risk negatively affects the record keeping and the monitoring of the company, which can easily lead to cyber attacks.
One of the auditing services we can provide is a social audit. This is an audit which helps highlight the social and ethical performance by a company, and in short shows how the company is perceived by the public. Some of the key risk areas identified included the relationship between the MD and the employees. In the interviews with David Sheridan, it was found there had been fallings out in the account office between employees, and yet David took little notice of these. As well as this, in the tour of the company, David dismissed the whole accounting department, which displayed a distinct lack of interest between the MD of the company and one of the more fundamental departments of the company. Furthermore, the bonus scheme plan laid out by David seemed to indicate that all employees would be applicable. However, only David, Leanne and Emily would be receiving them. Even though Leanne had no involvement in sales, whereas the sales manager, Harry Washbourne, would not be receiving one, even with him having done a seemingly successful job at increasing sales. The case of Mr. Munn writing in to report about his wife possibly being left permanently disabled after falling in the shop, asking for £3,000 in compensation, could prove problematic, especially if David Sheridan and James Clark deciding it'd be best not to pay, as this will show a lack of consideration for customers. The new advertising campaign with the new posters was met with lackluster replies from visitors and many members of staff, including some women, claiming it to be sexist, but this response was also dismissed by David, as he claimed they were just the wrong demographic. With the main building being located on an island right next to the docks, it will be important for the building and inventory to be insured and for there to be a formal disaster contingency plan should an accident occur. By resolving issues laid out in the internal social audit, you can improve relationships with the public and relationships between employees. Being a small firm wanting to grow and a strong reliance on the employees and maintaining a healthy work environment, by conducting a social audit, it will be very good as customers and employees could have a healthy relationship with the company.
Referring to financial audit, various credit limits are given to customers, both individuals and companies, who have had a bad debt history. In addition, it is said that your credit limit to the companies is £60,000, but there are a couple passing that limit with no specification given, just only stating that the companies are valued customers. As a company, you should ensure that the credit limits are paid back by customers in order to minimize your losses through bad debts or returns. There are many risk factors arising from the management. One of these is the management setting aggressive financial targets, for example, expansion to Spain with a relatively small company. When counting the inventory, the employee has stuck a paper on the boxes after he has counted them once. This will prevent double counting by others, which is necessary because a mistake can be made very easily and it is not reliable. As a conclusion to our financial audit, we haven't been given the essential documents which Rosie is in charge of keeping records. It has restricted our analysis for the credit limits.
To talk about taxation, firstly, Sheridan AV Limited is currently classified as a small company and their profits before tax is less than £300,000, so they have to pay 19% corporate tax for company profits. However, it is stated that the estimate for the year is £102,562, which does not equate for the corporate tax rate as their profit before taxation is around £210,000. So recalculation for the amount payable as tax should be considered. And the extra provision reserved for tax can be allocated, for example, to upgrade the IT system of the company, which is lacking. To talk about the tax exemptions and reliefs the company can get, the company can claim capital allowance for their plant and machinery, and the claim is for the full cost of items bought or ordered or purchased in this accounting period, up to £200,000. The total amount can be deducted from the profit before taxation to lower the amount of tax paid. Adding to that, David Sheridan can get off up to £3,000 from his tax bill if he's paying his employees Class 1 national insurance with employment allowance relief, and also claim a £2,000 employment allowance for the previous years dating back to 2014. To talk about the expansion to Spain, firstly, when auditing the company, we noticed that David Sheridan's lack of knowledge about the Spanish economy and the Eurozone, which is a warning sign if an expansion is due to happen. Also, the doubts about the advertisement for Spain is another problem, as marketing should be held in high regard when expanding to a foreign territory. However, if the company is dedicated to the expansion, we can help with some advice. To give some background information, there has been already a £1.6 billion amount of investment to Spain by around 700 UK companies, and Spanish government is open to foreign investments and recently embarked on an extensive privatization program. Moreover, Spain is a strategic location to penetrate the Latin America market with a potential market of 600 million customers. To talk about taxation in Spain, there is a current treaty between the United Kingdom and Spain that helps avoid double taxation on corporate tax and income tax. But because of the Brexit situation, the taxation and regulations for the UK companies is in jeopardy, and there is no certainty that the regulations will not change. Lastly, corporate tax in Spain is 25%, which is higher than the UK, and the company should consider that as well.
After our analysis on Sheridan AV, as a group of chartered accountants, we don't suggest the company expands overseas at this point. Being a small company of less than 50 employees, and the managing director not having sufficient knowledge on the Spanish economy and euro. In order to eliminate the possible risks facing Sheridan AV, we suggest a new IT system, which can be improved by the current employees, since few of them have the qualifications to forego the process. By introducing a new IT system, it will increase the security and time efficiency of the company. The current computer information is destroyed after 2 years, and this is not enough time in the case of any documents needed to be analyzed. We suggest each employee to have a username and a password which will expire every 2 months. The appointment of a non-executive director is necessary. It should be an individual other than the employees who has a governance knowledge and a past management career. We have concluded that the location of the warehouse plays an important role. Since it is by the water, the stocks should be kept on the first floor rather than the basement or the ground floor to minimize the risk of damage to the technological products from a flood. As a team, we were not happy with our access to information needed to complete our analysis.